Yeah, sorry about that. The mouse is kind of crap. It's pretty old mouse.
It's all good. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Anime Club.
We must save my family.
We are in our second segment for the show BOFURI. We're going to talk about the music, the production value, animation, ED, all of the technical things that make a show good or break a show. And I think we should start off with Nick Knack because he has a particular knack, as it were, for production value related things.
Starting with me, my brain's not working today. Gosh, it's been like 2 weeks since I saw this show.
Oh my God, for once Nick Knack binged. I'm so proud of him.
Just because I had a free day when I was stupid bored. I gotta start as usual, I guess. The OP.
Yeah.
The OP did not impress me one bit. I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't offensive to the ears, but I think I skipped it after the first 3 times or so.
Not memorable. Got it.
Yeah.
It was pretty generic, but it was like upbeat, peppy. It was everything that like an T.H.E opening is. Just generally upbeat, happy, feel good, but not memorable.
I don't know. To me, it was like kind of like the Madoka Magica OP, except without the irony of it not being at all fitting to the show.
This was like, I felt like I was eating a McDonald's burger watching this OP.
What, American McDonald's or not
American
Okay.
McDonald's.
Yeah, we have to specify that.
Because McDonald's is better outside of the US.
Yep.
And it's okay. Americans don't ask for much.
Yeah.
Low standards, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I didn't really pay attention to the ED. I never do. That's kind of a bad habit on my part, is I don't generally watch them. I kind of skip over them. I did also binge BOFURI like you did, so I did skip the EDs. But I did listen to the opening every time.
Half the time, I didn't even realize the ED was playing. I was just like, "Oh, the episode's over."
Because there's that little thing at the end of every episode where they do like the game chat room. Or whatever, while the ED
it goes by a little too fast for my taste.
Yeah,
like, that's one thing I kind of wish it lingered a bit or took an extra minute during the ED.
Yeah, so this little chat room function that they have at the end of every episode is basically the character. It's a bunch of gamers talking about the characters, and I'm sure it wouldn't be going by so fast if we all could like read Japanese fluently. You know,
if I could read Japanese as fast as I could read English, it wouldn't be a problem. But Japanese is inherently a shorter language to write in. Mm-hmm. That's caused problems in video games before, but that also means that you need less time to read it if you speak Japanese and you know Japanese. So the amount of time it's on screen is probably very appropriate if you're watching it in Japanese and you know how to speak Japanese and read Japanese. But English takes a little bit longer to read.
Yeah, so if you actually want to catch the characters talking and what they're saying, because it is actually very funny and sometimes relevant to like the show at times, not every episode, but sometimes if you actually want to catch it, you do have to like quickly pause sometimes when they dump like the equivalent of a paragraph of English text. And because it's kind of smashed into the ED, it goes by fast as well. So I think that's one of my biggest complaints in just like the production of it, is I think they could have lingered a little more on that, or at least the other thing was, so I watched it on Hulu, and on Hulu the English subtitles do not linger. Like they go by in a flash. So sometimes I'd pause it and the subtitles would already be gone. Like they only stayed for a second because they popped up right before the wording would change.
That happened on Funimation too with written subtitles.
Yeah, so that was definitely a production issue, because that could have been fixed with like a 2 seconds extra.
It's almost like this is an anime that would benefit from fan subs more than like where the subs can be more dynamic than the standard at the bottom or at the top.
Yeah,
I think
so. You could have the subs like next to the actual thing scrolling by.
Yeah, so I mean that's the biggest comment I have about that, though. What about, I mean, did you two feel anything about the opening or ending other than what you've already said?
No,
not the opening or ending.
How about animation? So animation and music that like runs through the show. I will say I didn't really notice any music that like runs as soundtrack music.
Oh, I noticed it. Oh, I'll let Realm go.
But I did. Okay, I did notice like one track that I did like, but I feel like I'm not entirely sure if this is true or not. But I feel like the singer for like the one track, I don't know which one it is in particular, but it sounded their voice sounded very similar to the Persona 3 singer's like voice to me for some reason. I'm not sure if that's actually them or not, but it sounded very similar to me for some reason.
There was one track that got on my nerves a little bit. The show, it's not the track itself's fault. The track itself's a very pleasant tune, I think. But the goddamn montage, like, come on, those are some of the most boring parts of the show. You're like, okay, we're gonna do something. Play this like thoughtful soundtrack over a montage of nothing substantial happening at all. Like, if this were an anime where like the point was like very like an anime that was almost trying to present itself nostalgically as a one last hurrah kind of thing, maybe that could have worked. But it just ends up being like, this is a montage to fill time.
The beauty and elegance of a homoerotic volley montage, this was not.
No, it was not.
No.
But I think with that, I also didn't notice anything particularly special about the animation. And I will say that generally, anyone who's listened to us will know that I do pay the least attention to animation and the intricacies of it, because I personally watch so many older anime that if I was to really look at like Prince of Tennis quality anime and then like watch BOFURI, neither would benefit from the comparison particularly, and I don't want to do that to myself. So I think that the animation, in my opinion, seemed pretty generic for an T.H.E show. It was cutesy, but it wasn't anything particularly special, and that's not a bad thing. It was well done, but it wasn't special.
Realm Persona 5 the animation has a chance. Did you hear that? She doesn't have standards.
I'm not putting anyone through that atrocity. I don't care if you have no animation standards.
That's me, the host with no standards.
I actually did notice something, but it's a bit superficial and stupid. So if anyone has actual thoughts on the animation, feel free to say them before I say something that's absolutely pointless.
Much like the opening, I felt like I was eating an American McDonald's hamburger.
I personally think that like if you noticed it, it's not superficial. But that's just because I noticed so few things that anything I do notice is important.
Oh no, you're about to roll your eyes at how superficial it is.
Go for it.
The best friend character, who we'll talk about more later, the way her fighting style is animated is exactly replicant of a specific Fate character. So I looked it up, and it was directed by the same person who did that anime, and it's the same exact goddamn studio. That's not a coincidence. Silverlink, Prisma Ilia, Chloe.
That's interesting, though, that they had the same director. Like, that means nothing to me, but it's interesting.
It's not uncommon in the industry.
Yeah.
What was it? There was also the Shield Girl's early fighting style is very reminiscent of the animations from early FGO for MASH, but I can mostly chalk that up to maybe coincidence, maybe inspiration, because I think that came just a little bit before, but I could be wrong.
Can you tell me about the scene where MASH ate a Hydra?
That did not happen. But I mean the early stuff, like when she's still hitting stuff with a shield.
Okay.
I will say one thing. There were a few times where the animation of like characters moving around was reminiscent of watching myself try to play Skyrim. Horrific, uncoordinated, and very reminiscent of someone who does not know how to handle a keyboard or a controller.
Oh wait, I think there is actually a part where MASH drinks the blood of a Hydra.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Maybe Maple is just a less senpai shouting version of MASH.
Oh
Possibly.
my god.
Does that make her better or worse?
No, guys, that's for characters. That's for characters.
Yeah, we'll see that.
That's not production and animation, people.
Like I said, superficial is going to make you roll your eyes.
I mean, I didn't roll my eyes, but I might have snorted a little. I think altogether, if you compared it to like other shows of similar, it's pretty standard. Like if you compared it to like the other Isekais I watch, and even most of the isekais, it's pretty fucking standard. It's not special.
I mean, the friend had good animation.
Yeah. But like I said, it's nothing amazing, like what's a really good animated show that we've talked about? Did we say
Oh.
Overlord had really good animation?
Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
Demons. Okay, so it's no
yeah.
Demon Slayer, but it's also not a what is that abomination coming out this season?
We haven't had one of those quite yet.
No, no,
Everything's
no.
been at least the standard or just below the standard of their time.
No, the
No.
abomination coming
Yes,
out
I know.
this season.
X-Arm.
That one.
Yeah.
It's no X-Arm. Also, do not go and watch X-Arm.
No, do it. It's hilarious.
I know.
Ugh, no.
The video game creators thinking that because they animate like live models for characters, thinking that animation is
No.
something that they
I want a
can do.
season 2. I have a feeling this is going to generate multiple meme formats.
No, no.
Oh, no.
All right, guys. You know the drill, even though we rarely say it, but please drop us a like or a dislike or a comment or a subscribe. Just interact in any way with us.
Try harder.
This video is sponsored by NordVPN.
This video is not sponsored by anybody, but we're broke college students, and we would greatly appreciate it if you would sponsor us.
Links to our Patreon in the description.
What
I-
Patreon?
I wish. I fucking wish.